Good evening. Welcome visitors. It appears that it is the appointed hour of February 28, 2023 Solid Waste Authority regular board meeting. Today, Mr. Hughes will do the invitation and Mr. Kemp will do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's take a minute. Father, we just want to thank you for all that you have done and all that you continue to do. We ask a special blessing on the solid waste staff, as well as the board and the world as a whole. We ask that you go with us as we deliberate the issues that's in front of the Solid Waste Authority. Give us open minds in order to deal with these issues. These and all other blessings I ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I can have a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposition? No, so thank you. If I could have a motion for approval of the minutes for the January 24th, 2023 regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Aye. All approve, say aye.
Aye.
Objections? None. Thank you. We have a very special recognition today from Mr. Mike Bassett, and that will be handled by Mr. Ed Moss.
Oh, I'm sure Danny would have loved to have been here today to do this, to officially recognize our good friend Mike. If he will come up here, please. He can't sit in the corner, Mike. Mike's been here for 15 years, but been a garbage man for a good many more than that. And I wish I had had a chance to work with him a bit longer than the 8 months that I've had with him, but it's been a blessing having him here. And I want everybody to welcome Mike and say thank you for all those years that you've been with the authority. Thank you very much. I will say this, Mike has a propensity of saying that he believes that there's probably a lot of people that are going to be glad to see him go. I'm not one of them. But no, we all appreciate you very much. And any words that you want to?
Words of wisdom?
I've enjoyed my tenure here. I hope I've left the Solid Waste Authority better than I found it, which is nothing wrong with it when I came here, but I hope I've had some kind of impact on the Solid Waste Authority. I put my heart and soul in it. Lived it, breathed it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week since I've been here. And hope the board and Danny and staff will really appreciate at least something I've done, I believe, while I'm here.
Absolutely.
Good.
We're gonna do another one later, but.
Oh, we're going to do another
Yes,
one later.
Mom.
Okay.
Happy. Oh, God, that's
Good job,
right,
Mike.
right?
Well, look at it. The great solid waste retirement or leaving. Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets it.
There is no public input today. So we will move on to departmental reports, and we will start out, which is, you will quickly recognize this is not Esther. We're back to Mr. Ed Muller.
Yes, unfortunately, Miss Esther's feeling a bit under the weather, so she's asked me to fill in for her, so I will do my best not to say something I shouldn't. Let's see here. We're going to begin on page 13. As you all know, grants are something that we always apply for here. And the EPA grant has been the largest endeavor, I think, for Esther and myself in quite a while. EPA is a bit more intense than perhaps the DHEC grants that we've applied for. So, but real quickly on the EPA side, the grant application deadline was February 15th. That's come and gone. So everybody who's in is in, and like I said, we're all hoping for the best, keeping our fingers crossed and whatnot. We submitted a solid waste infrastructure and recycling grant of $3.75 million. That's for equipment for the SW6, the recycling building out here for C&D waste. Esther's put together the recycling education outreach grant, which amounted to nearly $1 million, about $900,000, and that's going to fund education programming for the authority and for the county. And there has been some discussion, kind of as a side note, that not very many people in the state have applied for it, at least in South Carolina. Right now, we only know that Charleston, I believe Berkeley County, and Horry County are the only ones that applied out of South Carolina. So if the other 5 states hold true to that kind of application number, then maybe we have a better chance than what we originally thought, but we shall see. On the DHEC grant side, there were several applications that we made this year. Under the waste hire grant, we applied for contractor costs, because that's all we could apply for. As you know, the grant funds have been cut back some, so we applied for $103,000 in contractor dollars for managing our waste hires. The solid waste grant, innovation and waste reduction and recycling, we applied for the full $100,000 that was available for phase 2 expansion of the C&D plant, just in case EPA doesn't come through. We may get some dollars from DHEC to help us with those operations out there. Used oil grant funds, we applied for $25,000 for recycling equipment, typically the collection equipment for the used oils containers. $4,000 for public education and $750 in professional development for a total of $30,260. And then on the solid waste grant side, general recycling items, $10,000 in equipment and $10,000 in public education dollars. I wish I had a bit more on that. I don't know exactly what she's applying for, but I'm assuming that there are some things for the convenience centers that we needed for recycling. So those are the things that we applied for under the DHEC grant. Statement of economic interest update. It's just a reminder that if you haven't done so, the statement of economic interest needs to be completed electronically with the State Ethics Commission by no later than March 30th. And any board member who needs assistance with that, Esther has held out the red carpet. She says, anything you do, we can help you to do that, but it needs to be done before March 30th. Then lastly, on Esther's list is the caught green-handed. I don't know, oh, there he is. Anthony Pace is our January caught green-handed person. It's presented to an Oregon County resident caught in the act of recycling. And it's the Solid Waste Authority's way of recognizing and thanking citizens who have made an effort to recycle. Through their recycling efforts, natural resources are saved, the amount of waste being landfilled is reduced. Mr. Pace is a regular recycler at the North Myrtle Beach Recycling and Convenience Center and is surprised and honored to receive the recognition. And that, Mr. Chairman, is Ms. Esther's.
Any questions from Ms. Esther's report?
I've just got a comment. I'd like to commend the staff, Esther and the staff, for the professionalism and the level of expertise that went in preparing these grants. I've used to write grants once or twice in my life, and I wasn't as successful, and I probably, after reading the complete competency of these grants, I know why I probably was a failure in life. Had I had Esther and the staff on my side, I probably would have got the grants I applied for. And I just want to say that they did absolutely an outstanding job in writing those grants, because been there, done that, and it's not an easy thing to do, and they did an outstanding job.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other comments? Now we'll move on to finance administration. Administration. Ms. Banks.
Good morning.
Morning.
My reports begin on page 42. As you can see, we should be at about a little over 58% of our budget. If you can see right there in the middle of the page, our tipping fees are currently a little over 5% over where we were last year this time, which is great. You can see our solid waste is at 61.38% of budget, mixed construction at 67.99, and our yard waste at 67.06. Which I think is tremendous. We are staying well above, especially our yard waste. I'm very surprised, with the weather and different things. So we'll only continue, of course, to see that increase. As you can see, even our recyclable sales have improved slightly at being 45% of budget. So like I said, they are running below, which we know, but like I said, it's not way out of line, so it's looking a little bit better. And as you can see, we saved, landfill airspace, we've saved a little over 31 days with our C&D processing facility, a little over 55 days with our MRF and collection and hauling, and the store at 0.063. Over on page 44, we'll take a look at our income statement real quick. As you can see, our total revenue is at 54% of budget, so it is slightly below. But our expenses are only 49.43% of budget, which is outstanding. Staff has continued to, watch their expenses and hold everything as necessary. Just wanted to point out one thing, just taking a look at the store, and I know I keep mentioning this a lot of times, but if you look, they had a little over $16,000 a month for the month of January, which is amazing to me. After the holidays and things, they've been averaging for the year at about $15,000 a month over there at that store,
Wow.
which I think is just outstanding, what they've been able to do over there. They continue to just amaze me with all that they do. And I think they're selling little items here and there and making $15,000 a month, so I just have to commend them. They do a really great job. The last page I have for you is just on page, flip over to it here in a minute. Page 51, just kind of taking a look at our overall tonnages as to where we are as compared to last year this same time. As you can see, each one of them is up. Solid waste is a little over 1.25% over where we were last year. Yard waste at 14% over where we were, and our mixed construction 11%. And overall, a little over 6% over where we were last year, which is great. Because like I said, we had seen a lot of change last year, and we're continuing to see that growth, which is great. So like I said, yeah, that's where I am on the financial reports. Like I said, we continue to keep moving in the right direction, which is great. I do have for you at your places there, your budget workshop book. I want to give you plenty of time to be able to go through that, mark anything, make sure you bring all your questions, concerns, anything like that. I've added a page this year, the very front page gives you some highlights on some significant changes that we have implemented in the budget this year. But we will start that next Thursday at 9 o'clock. I will provide lunch for you. We'll have some snacks for breakfast. I know that's early, Mr. Jones. I apologize. But I don't want to get that taken care of. We do have Vance Moore and Craig Fortner that are going to be here as well to give a little presentation on our closure and post-closure and construction for us. So if there's anything else that you need or you'd like for that, just let me know. One thing I do want to mention, I normally try to include to you an update on our capital. I did not do that this month, and I apologize. I got so wrapped up with the budget process and stuff, I did forget to put that in, but I will have that for you next month. Any questions?
Thank you for the advance opportunity to study this.
I appreciate it. I look forward to meeting with everyone next week. Thank you.
One more time, Mr. Benson.
I might have to get one more out of it before the end of March. Sorry about that, you may have to put up with me one more time. That's good. I'm gonna give an update on the landfill. We did receive our monthly landfill inspection on February the 2nd. We did pass, didn't have any marks on it, any violations or things we need to pay any attention to. The one issue we are having with is blood and litter out here. With 35, 40, and 45 mile-an-hour winds. We're keeping people out here picking it up constantly. So the litter has been an issue. And the higher you get in the air, the more that's going to happen. You can get above the trees and the wind blowing. Just about continuously, you're going to have people out here picking up litter all the time because of that. So But everything else on the landfill is going well. We are in the process of finishing up the leachate tanks, the repairs and remodels on the leachate tanks. We got one tank completed, probably 100% of the piping is done. I'd say 95% of the piping is done. And they're working on the last tank currently. They started on that yesterday, and they should get that repaired and redone the next couple of weeks. So I'm thinking that may be wound up by the end of March. And then that should be good for about 10, 15 more years. You'd be good to go again on them tanks. So that was better than we thought the outcome was going to be. We're probably going to end up with somewhere in the neighborhood of $700,000 in it before we get done. But it's better than 1.2 million we thought it was going to get. The CD recycling update. Last month we recycled 80% of the material that went through there, which I thought was a great month. It's a good month. We also had a 4.15% increase in the amount of tonnage going over there last month. We give you all an update on the construction that's approved by the board. We're currently, should be starting today or tomorrow, putting the concrete pads in around the building, getting prepared for the new equipment. That should start today or tomorrow. We have got the grinding equipment out, so we are not selling chips right now due to that fact because our grinder is out. We'll be carrying it to the back and grinding it, but we're not being able to sell any colored mulch because that part of the plan is down. We're hoping to have that part of the plan back up by mid-March, and we'll start coloring again and selling the colored mulch. That's, we've done almost $200,000 last year. What we expect to do this year, around $200,000 in just colored mulch alone. So that's become a definitely revenue stream over the years. The new grinder should be here on March 6th, and it will start getting installed as soon as the concrete gets hard enough for the building on it. And like I said, that target date for that to come in is March 6th. And they should start on the back of the building. They're working on the front of the building as far as concrete, and then move to the back of the building and start on that. Going on to the MRF. So we had a 9.21% tonnage increase over last month in January. So that was a good thing. We had the first increase we've seen, any major increase we've seen in a while. So that tonnage did increase. We are in the process of doing some work over there and getting a metal shed over the glass machine that y'all approved in our budget. So we have got that bid, and they're in the process of doing that. That's scheduled to be done by July 1. So that project will be done, and now when it rains, we can continue to process glass. Now we can't. It makes it a muddy paste, and it just contaminates the whole glass. So when we get the shelter up, rain or shine, we can process glass. MRF prices, as far as material-wise, is still down. We have a hard time getting rid of mixed paper, cardboard, all your paper products. We have people bid them, and then they can't sell them. So we're in the process of trying to work through that. Storage is a problem for us up there. We got the building that we have for the electronics building is full of material. We got the building just about full of material, and we start putting it in the floor. So storage is one of the lacking things up there. You can't store for long times during these market downturns, and that's definitely going to have to be addressed at some point in time. But we'll talk more about that during the budget process. We didn't put anything in there to do it with, but it needs to be talked about during the budget process. Office paper continues to sell at a constant price of above $200. Last month, we sold mixed paper for $48 a ton. This month, we didn't even get a bid on it. So it's an issue we're trying to work through. So markets is the problem right now. We had such a good year the other year. One year we did had a good year, and now we're at this. The driver of the month is with is Eric Olivery. I guess the way you pronounce that, he's with Dumpster Girl, and those guys on the landfill chose him as driver of the month recipient this month. So, he got his letter and appreciation for what he does for us on the landfill. Any questions? Yes, sir.
In all the years that I've been sitting on this board, you always start out your presentation by saying that the inspection went well, there were no discrepancies, nothing, whatever else. Have you kept track of how many months or how many years, or when's the last time we had a discrepancy?
I was gonna say it was probably about 5 years, so Bill went, I know for 3 years, three maybe even 4 years, Bill went without anything, and was in my 3-year tenure here, I continue to do it.
I know.
We take landfill stations as, we finish one landfill station, we start ready for the next one, so.
Wow.
We're always working on it, well, you know, you got 4 or 5 eyes up there on the landfill looking at it all the time. This thing, you got Danny up there, me up there, now Ed's up there, Stephanie's up there, everybody's always saying, we need to get this done, we need to get this done, we need to get this. So we're always practicing for that next inspection, and we really pride ourselves on that. I want one more good inspection.
My point is, it's been a long time since you had any discrepancies. I just want to say congratulations to you and the staff and everybody for doing such an outstanding job.
It's definitely
having spent more years in the military than I want to remember, inspections aren't something that we always look forward to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, everybody pays close attention to that.
They all did a great
It's
job,
important.
and let them know that we appreciate their efforts.
Yeah. And when you get, last month, we had a new, DA was training a new inspector, and I asked the lady from Clemens, I said, why are you coming here? He said, we want to start here because this is what it should be. That makes you feel good. That really makes you feel good when you get those kind of comments. They want to start here training somebody so they see what it should be. And Julie's here with us today. I mean, she brought her boss here because she wanted to see our landfill. That's something that everybody in this room and everybody in Norway County should be proud of, because that is not always the case. I'm not saying ain't nobody else doing as good as we are, but that's not always the case.
I'll say, anybody else good as we are.
But we try, and we think about that, and we work on it all the time, and that's the big thing.
To share my thoughts and boards with your crew and whatever else. We really appreciate all your efforts.
Mr. Chairman, when we gave you your photograph of recognition, you said you hope you made a difference. You certainly have, Mike. Your experience from the private side especially has helped us be friendly to our customers and understanding what their needs are. And that, I think, has really made us exceptional by looking at that side as well as understanding what the county's needs are. We've had a good partnership with our customers, the county, and with all the private haulers that come in here. And I think having that familiarity with them has really helped us perform. But well done. Well done, Mike. We're really going to miss you.
Sure.
Yes, sir. Mike, I noticed coming in this morning that how clean Highway 90 was from here to International Drive. I mean, it was like you took a vacuum cleaner out there. You really did a good job on that, you and your people. And I want to thank you for the time that I've been on this board, how much you've helped me to understand what's going on out here. I really appreciate that. And I hope you have a good retirement. I look forward to aggravating you a little bit once you leave here.
We still have his phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
But I really mean what I'm saying, that you've really helped me a lot, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo what was just said, all right? I'm the new boy on this committee. It's between you and Danny, it's amazing how much you've taught me, all right? And I can't tell you how much I value your opinion, okay? And I certainly hope that we keep his telephone number handy, all right? We track him on weekends, we know which campground he's at.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and, serious asset to this, this organization. I appreciate what you've done.
I could not have
Yes,
done
I'll
without the
finish it.
support, I could not have done without the support of the board and staff.
Guess I'll finish it. I'm the only one that's been here longer than Mike. It's been a learning experience for both of us. It's been a great ride, but it's been positive, and you definitely had an influence, and we are where we are today, and you're a large part of where we are today. And I thank you for that.
Mr. Jones, I want to say one thing, me and you've not always seen eye to eye, but we found a way to work in the middle.
If we did one, we'd need both of us to be here. Mr.
One other thing, I echo all the things that you said, I just want to give you one word advice. Change your phone number.
I've had the same phone number since I had a bag phone.
You may
I don't
need
think that's
to,
gonna
you may
change.
need to get a new number because everybody's writing your number down, but we really appreciate you, everything done. I don't need your phone number because I know where you live.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're, assistant executive, we're back to Mr. Mark.
Real quick, I have a few things that give some updates on. One is the waste tire issue. The last time the waste tire group got together was back on February 6th, and we were talking about the next steps for the move forward, and that being the language that we want to see come out of this session. There are three options that John Widges with the Association of Counties has pulled together, and those three options are as follows. Remove the $150 per ton cap that's currently placed on counties at the scale house, because right now you can't charge more than $150 on those tires. And then increase the $2 fee from $2 to $4, and that'll help bring the dollars in that we need to do some of the other programming that we've had to cut, and to get us whole, essentially, because the costs have certainly gone up since '91 when it was first installed. We know the tire manufacturers have nearly doubled the price of their tires. I think there's some understanding there that that dollar figure should also be increased. Draft 2 also removes the cap, but instead of just going to $4, it has done a calculation of CPI on the $2 since it was incepted, and surprisingly, it comes out to $4.11, but then do it annually thereafter. That isn't as palatable as the first option, because the first option says revisit it in 5 years. This option would be revisiting it every single year, which can sometimes be problematic. So that's also very much in the running, but not the favored position is draft 1. And then the last one only puts the cap on, or excuse me, takes the cap off, doesn't do anything with the $2. There's some concern there that anytime you say fee, it's dead on arrival, although in this case, given the size of the fee increase that we're requesting and the justification that's been pulled together, I think there's probably a better than average chance. And to quote Danny when we talked about this the last time, you never go into something like this planning to lose. You plan to win. So he's got a lot of information that he's pulled together. I know Richard Chesley and DHEC has done likewise. In your packets or in your tables this morning, I have given you an addendum 3 that his office has put out, as well as a fact sheet that we've been working on to try to address some of those questions that have come up at these meetings. The most recent one, surprisingly enough, the manufacturers had a little bit of pushback because they were concerned that the $2 fee going to 4 places us at the top end of what the tire fees are in the Southeast. And that may be true on the surface, but you have to really dig into what the number means when you look at tire fees. Tire fees as a national issue go anywhere from 25 cents per tire up to $10 per tire. And then it depends on what tires they accept. We accept car, light truck, tractor trailer, buses, and motorcycles. But we don't touch lawnmowers, golf carts, or any of those other states do. Some states, they apply up to a certain weight, so much per tire, and then beyond that weight, so much per tire, so it's a sliding scale, which makes sense because we're charging a flat fee, but then we, on the other hand, have to pay a disposal fee based on per ton. So unless a tire weighs 23 pounds, we're losing every time. So it's one of those things where you have to really get into that information, and what those fact sheets do is kind of address that point. It's really easy to just cast shade and say, well, you're going to be the highest tire fee. Well, we We also don't collect money through registration of cars. We don't charge new cars that are sold a $2 fee. Now, all those tires are out there. And the dollars that are available to offset those costs are just win-win. And we've been fortunate, but I know our day is coming, and we really need to get this moving. So we're pressing John at the Association of Counties to get with our representative, Mr. Bailey. He's real interested in this, wants to carry the water for us, so I'll be giving you updates as we move through that process. He's a bit under the weather himself, so he hasn't been able to communicate very much with us since we had our meetings last week. But I feel pretty confident that we're going to be able to have something that's going to be successful and at least get it to the State House this year and get it introduced and down to committee where we can start having some discussion. That's what I have on my tire update. Are there any questions on tires? And I'll go on to update on the sale of the property. This is the property off 501 on 511 Rhonda Loop. This is where the old Murph was, I guess. And at one point in time, there's about 3 acres over there, and we've asked to put that up for sale. The RFP has been put together and issued. We're on the INR committee agenda in March. I've talked to David Gilreath about getting on that agenda, so we'll have time to do that. The proposals are due back March 6th, so I don't have anything to update at this point about the proposals that we've received, but after March 6th, we'll know something just in time for the budget workshops. Questions on that property? And then the last thing that I had, we have the final piece of our solid waste management plan update to take care of. The policy council meeting will be held on March 22nd at 10 o'clock in the morning. As you know, that's where all of the mayors, administrators, and their key staff will come in and have one last look at the draft document. Allison Trulock and the folks from HDR will be here to give us an update on all the final changes and present the final draft.
That date again, please.
It will be March 22nd at 10 o'clock here. And once they've had a chance to have that discussion, they'll go back with a draft resolution for each of their legislative bodies to approve. That's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. We have no committee reports, and we have no old business. Under new business, we have the sale of surplus equipment.
I don't know anything about,
Mr.
Mr. Besson's got that.
Thanks, sir. We have some equipment that we purchased new equipment to replace old equipment. And so we have a bunch of items you can see in your board packet. Anything, the policy says that anything we think would get a value more than $10,000 must be approved by the board for sale. So we're asking approval. You'll see a list of some things on here that we think will be below it. But just to be on the safe side, we went ahead and put it on. And I just need a motion from the board to allow us to sell that equipment.
I hear such a motion.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposition?
All that stuff will go on gov deals, so anybody be able to bid on it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone have a need or anything they'd like to bring up for roundtable? Seeing none?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I
sir.
have one item that I'd like to bring up if I could.
Yes, sir.
Miss Julie Blaylock is in the back of the room, and in recognition of Mr. Bessett's unfortunate retirement decision, she has requested time for the board so that she could come up and say a couple of words about our good friend, Mr. Mike.
Come on. So it's great being here. I hear about the board meetings. I watch them sometimes. It's wonderful seeing all of you pay tribute to Mike and what he's done. Like he said, I mean, I was going to mention the fact about inspectors. I think you've probably had more inspectors because the Myrtle Beach office seems to rotate them out, and it is true. Not only do we bring the new inspectors here to take a look at how it's supposed to be done, we bring inspectors from other parts of the state to do training here. We brought Myra Reese and my boss Henry here to show them how things should be done. So thanks to him and thanks to the support you have given him, those partnerships are great. And I can honestly say from personal mentoring that you've done, you may be the garbage guy, but I'm the garbage gal at DHEC. And the partnerships that you have made with DHEC and mentored so many people there meant a lot. So because of that, we are presenting you with the official Recycle Guy Award, number 23. There aren't that many of them out there, so congratulations.
There we go.
I called about the DHEC on, hat on, so thank you.
See it.
How many years is this back?
What,
You've known each other now.
since you came in the door here?
I'll go one more.
Heard his name before that, though, in the industry. So thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Anything else? Do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Please signify by saying aye.
We having lunch at the shop, y'all.